Welcome back to the Old Soul Millennial channel. In today's video, I'd like to teach you how to replace the transmission cooler inlet line and outlet line on a 2014 GMC Terrain. Now this repair should be pretty similar, if not identical to similar years as well. Now I first noticed that there was an issue when I did the oil change on this car about a week ago. And I noticed that on the driver's side front compartment of the engine, there was an oil leak underneath the car. And upon closer inspection, I identified that both the inlet and outlet transmission coolant lines were leaking where the hoses connect to the hard metal portion of the hose right here. And you'll see that as we dig deeper into this car. So first thing we need to do is to start removing some components. So I'll move the camera a little bit closer and we'll get to work. Now these transmission coolant lines are deep within the engine on the driver's side portion of the car. So in order to access those lines, we need to remove some components. And we're going to start by removing this cover for the ECM. If your cover isn't already broken, you would simply slide this forward and remove this out of the way. Next thing we need to do is to relocate the ECM. Now in order to relocate the ECM, we're going to have to remove a 10mm fastener, which is hidden behind the wire loom on the middle connector. Then we should be able to slide the ECM towards the outside of the car, lift it up, and put it out of the way. I'm going to put it over the oil fill cap for now. Next, we're going to have to fold this plastic panel over. In order to fold this over, we're going to have to remove 3 body clips, one here, and one here. I'm going to remove these with my body clip removal tool. When you have all 3 of those body clips removed, you should be able to take this panel and fold it forward. We now have access to the battery holding bracket. I'm going to remove this bracket by removing this 10mm bolt and this 10mm nut. Next, we need to remove the battery. Before we can remove the battery, we have to remove the battery connections. In order to remove the battery connections, take a 10mm wrench. For the negative side, we're going to loosen up this nut. For the positive terminal, we're going to loosen up this nut. I like to start with the negative side first. Next, we need to work on removing the battery tray. So first thing I'm going to do is take a pair of needle nose pliers. I'm going to pinch on this connector and just push it through the bracket here. This is just a holding connector for the positive battery terminal. Now there's a 10mm fastener that holds this bracket onto this front cross member. And then there are also 3 1/2-inch fasteners that we also need to remove on the bottom of this tray. And the final connection on this battery box should be this connection right here. And this is just a holding clamp for one of the AC lines. So I have a 10mm on a universal. Now we should be able to lift this battery box up and out. We're just going to have to work the positive terminal out of the way. Next thing I'm going to do is remove this bracket, which this is the support bracket for the battery. Now in order to remove this 10mm, 1/2-inch, another 1/2-inch here, and there's 2 other 1/2-inch bolts underneath this bracket that I'm not going to be able to show you. And again, there is another 1/2-inch bolt deep behind this bracket. Just going to have to sneak a hand in here and get at it. Found a box wrench to be most effective. Almost have the bolt out. Once that bolt's out, we should be able to remove this lower bracket. Oh, thank God it fell. Alright, there's the bracket. Get that up and out of the way. Alright, so that cavity we've created in the engine bay will give us enough access to 3 of the 4 connections that we need to access. Now the 4th connection is going to be a little bit trickier. I've traced that connection back and it's relatively close to the CV axle. So I've jacked up the front driver's side of the car, positioned a jack stand underneath the frame as well, so in case this jack fails, the car is not going to come crashing down. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this front tire, so we're going to pop this cover off. Then the lugs here are 22 millimeter lugs. So we have a jack stand and a second jack stand, of course the pump jack as well, but after removing the tire, it looks like this is going to give us good access to the fourth and final connection, and that is the connection right there. Now we're ready to start disconnecting the lines from the cooler. So you want to ensure that you have a piece of cardboard down and you have a catch pan ready to go underneath where we're about to disconnect the lines. I'm going to start by disconnecting the upper line. So in order to disconnect the line, main tool you're going to need is a right hand pick. So if you'll notice where the line connects to the cooler, there's kind of like a cowling. All you're going to do is just pinch it and pull that back. And then from there, you should notice that there is a C-clip, and that is what keeps the line into position. So I'm going to get in here with my pick and try and pick that C-clip out of there. Once you get that clip out of there, you should be able to pull this line straight out. So that was the upper line that just popped out. I'm going to repeat the procedure for the lower line. I'm going to do that off camera because I'm pretty much going to have to stick my head into the engine. Alright, I got that lower C-clip removed. Now let's see if we can work this line out of here. May have to pull it in and out a few times. There we go. That catch pan is right underneath that line, catching all that transmission fluid. If you can see where my finger is, there's also a bracket that kind of holds these two lines together down low here. I'm just going to try and pull this out of the housing, and it just pops out. So once we get this top side, we'll figure out how this separates, plug it back in, and then when we put the two new lines back in, we should be able to close that holding clamp back onto the two lines. Now that we have the lines disconnected from the cooler, we can start removing these lines from the transmission. I'm going to start by decoupling this connection right here. So starting with the portion on the inner side of the engine, just going to take a right hand pick, lift it up out of the way. And there's a stud right here, and the nut on that stud is 13 millimeter. I'll back off that nut. And with that, we should be able to remove the shorter line. I can hear it draining into the catch pan down there. Now we are repositioned in the driver's side wheel well, and right behind this line, again, there's a 13 millimeter nut, so I have a deep 13 millimeter socket on my impact here. We'll back off this nut. I also have a small catch pan. And we'll just pop this out of here and try and catch as much of this oil as we can. Really not much came out, just a little dribble. So this line is loose and we can go ahead and pull this out from the other side. All right, now I'm just going to try and pull this line set out of here. Now with the longer one, I may have to rotate it to get it out of here. There we go. Now that we have these lines out of the car, we can take a quick look at them. This line was clearly leaking right here. Tremendous amount of corrosion where these lines sit within the bracket right here. This one, some residue right here. So this one was probably leaking a little bit, but it was definitely getting ready to fail right here. So now we need to recover this bracket that clips into the cooler. I'm going to take a pick, come in here, try and pop it open. Not exactly sure how this goes. I mean, it looks like this is the hinge side right here. Let's just play around with this clip and see if we can get it to pop. Let's pinch and pry. Let's try that. There we go. Now that I have this off, I can kind of show you what I was trying to do here. So what I was trying to do, you see that little hook? So I was trying to close that with the needle nose pliers in here and just work the pick to pry this open. So hopefully that gives you a good understanding as to what you got to do to pry this clip open. So I'm going to reinstall this back on the cooler. But again, just look at all that corrosion on these lines. Wow. We're getting ready to really go, so it's a good thing we're doing this now. All right, now I'm going to start installing these new lines. I recommend you starting with the longer line first and pay attention to the washer on the end of the line where it goes into the transmission. Ensure that that washer does not become displaced. That needs to be on there in order for this line to seat properly. Anyway, this longer line is going to get fished underneath this mount in this cavity right here. Not really sure what the best way to get this in there is, so we're just going to have to play around with it. We're back in the driver's side wheel well, and I have the new line fished through. I'm just ensuring that that washer is still on the end of the line. Should be a black washer. I do see that it is in place. So now I'm going to reinsert this into the transmission here. Give it a firm press, slide the bracket over, and reinstall the nut. Now let's reinstall this second smaller line. I'm going to start by reinstalling it into the transmission, and again there should be a black washer where it connects to the transmission. Line everything up, push it in. It's a good fit. We'll reinstall our 13mm nut. Alright, now it's time to reinstall these lines into the cooler. Now I'm going to start by reinstalling this C-clip. And according to my research online, you should be able to install this clip first before you push the lines into the cooler. So we're going to try that and see if it works. Alright, so that clip just snapped into the port in the cooler. So now I'm going to push this shorter line directly into that port. Make sure it's lined up properly. And I believe that's in there. I didn't hear a click, but I saw it go in there past that clip, and pulling back on it, it does seem to be seated in there properly. So I'm going to call that installed properly, and the final thing we need to do with this connector is just slide this plastic cowling over clip, and I believe that's to prevent the clip from backing out. You can see that just kind of pops in there. Now let's work on the upper connector. Alright, now let's install the clip into this upper port. That clip popped in. I'm going to take my line, line it up, seat it on that lower retention bracket, line it up in the hole, and should just pop in. Beauty. Get that cowl, put it over the clip. There it goes, snapped in. Down below you can see the two lines should be lined up in this lower bracket. So all I need to do is just fold this over and get the lines clamped to that bracket. I'm going to need 2 hands for this though. It's the following day. Had to order some ATF fluid. For this vehicle you want to use the Dexron 6. I think we're only going to need a quart, but I purchased 2 anyway. So the next thing we need to do is we need to reassemble everything within this cavity in the engine here. I also want to point out that is where the transmission fill is. Now for filling the transmission there's a pretty specific procedure which I'm going to show you how to do here momentarily, but we are going to need the car running. So again, reinstall all of the components in the engine bay, but leave the front tire off because there is a fill level plug that we will need to access. Alright, I have everything put back together. What I'm going to do now is reach down into the engine and remove the transmission fill cap, and then you're going to need a long funnel such as this one. Obviously you're going to position this directly into that fill hole. Now here's the question, how much transmission fluid should you put in the funnel? Kind of hard to say. My recommendation, try and judge how much you lost from replacing the lines and then add that back into the funnel here. I'm probably going to put in about 1/2 quart. I'm going to start with that and we'll see how we do. So let me get that ATF fluid and we'll put in 1/2 quart. Next I'm going to remove the funnel and I'm going to reinstall the fill cap. So next thing I'm going to do is position my oil catch pan directly underneath the transmission. So if you take a look, this is the CV axle, and to the right of that CV axle is the fluid fill level plug. So what we're going to do here in a moment, I'm actually going to lower down the car slightly with the floor jack to ensure the car is flat and level. And then I'm going to start the car, and then I'm also going to remove this plug right here. And the idea behind that is while the car is running, apparently it uses more transmission fluid than what it would be if it was just sitting off. So we're going to start the car, we're going to remove this level plug, and we're going to allow the fluid to drain out this plug. Once fluid is no longer coming out of this plug, we know that the fluid is at the proper level. I'll tighten this up and we'll shut off the car. Now, if we find that no fluid is coming out of this plug, that means we need to go topside and add another 1/2 quart of ATF, and then we will repeat the procedure. By the way, this fill plug is a 7/16 inch socket. I'm not going to take it off just yet, but I'm going to crack it loose. And it's coming out. Right, that fluid's just about stopped trickling out of there. I'm going to reinstall the fill level plug. So a few closing thoughts here. One, you notice that the color of the transmission fluid was very dirty. Now this car has somewhere around 150, 160,000 miles on it, and I don't believe it's ever had a transmission service. According to my research, if you've gotten this far, at this point it's best just to leave it alone because swapping out new fluid could lead to potential issues, so I'm not going to risk it by doing a full flush. Additionally, you probably noticed that a lot of fluid came out of that plug, which means I probably didn't have to add 1/2 quart. Probably could have gotten away with 1/4 of that quart and I would have been just fine. Additionally, really what needs to happen now is you really should take your car for a test drive, go through all the gears, put it in reverse, get it up to operating temperature, pull the car back in, and then check that level one more time because it is possible that there are a few void cavities from changing out those lines, so that really is the proper thing to do. But anyway, that's going to conclude today's video. I'd like to thank you for watching. I'll leave links in the description down below as to where you can find some of the parts and tools used in today's video, and I will catch you on the next one.